The morning sun cast a golden glow across the sprawling estate of billionaire Arthur Kingsley, a man so consumed by meetings, deadlines, and financial empires that he often forgot the simple, fragile beauty of the world his money protected. His daughter, Emily, 5 years old, bright-eyed, endlessly curious, was the only reminder that life could be tender. And yet, despite his love, Arthur struggled to give her time. That responsibility often fell to Mara, the young maid who had been hired only months earlier, whose heart was richer than any fortune could buy. Mara had grown up poor, but she carried a kind of warmth that made even the coldest corners of the Kingsley mansion feel like home. She adored Emily, treating her not as a job but as a child who needed affection, guidance, and laughter. On this particular afternoon, the breeze was soft, the grass glowed under the sun, and Emily tugged Mara's hand with excitement, begging to play in the backyard treehouse, a sturdy wooden structure built into an old oak Arthur had imported from another country, one of his many extravagant decisions that often made Mara smile in disbelief. "Just a few minutes," Mara said with a gentle laugh, tightening Emily's ponytail, "but no climbing too high, okay?" Emily nodded with enthusiasm, scampering up the small wooden ladder as Mara stayed below to watch her. Birds chirped, leaves rustled, and everything felt peaceful until a faint buzzing sound hummed through the air, a sound Mara almost dismissed until it grew louder, sharper, and more urgent. Her eyes scanned the branches, and her body stiffened. Hanging dangerously close to the treehouse was a massive, swollen beehive, pulsing with movement. Bees began swirling around it, agitated by the vibration of Emily's footsteps. Mara gasped and reached toward the treehouse, but before she could speak, Emily leaned over the edge, her face pale with confusion. "Mara, what's happening?" the little girl whimpered, noticing the bees emerging in angry swarms. Mara tried to keep her voice steady. "Emily, sweetheart, don't move. Stay still. I'm coming to get you." But the child panicked, shifting her weight, gripping the wooden edge too tightly. The sudden motion caused the hive to tremble, sending dozens, then hundreds, of bees into the air. Emily screamed, a raw, terrified cry that ripped through the quiet afternoon. Mara felt her heart thud painfully as the bees clouded around the treehouse. She had no protective gear, no plan, nothing but instinct and love pushing her forward. She stepped onto the lowest branch, reaching for Emily as the buzzing intensified. And then, from the mansion patio, Arthur appeared, freshly returned from a meeting, suit still crisp, phone glued to his ear. His world froze when he saw his daughter swarmed by bees, her tiny face red with fear, Mara clinging to the trunk, trying desperately to reach her. "Emily," he yelled, dropping his phone and sprinting across the lawn. Mara didn't wait for him. She climbed higher, wincing as the bees began to target her exposed skin. Sharp stings needled her arms, neck, and cheeks, but she didn't stop. Emily cried uncontrollably, her small hands covering her face. The bees, disturbed and defensive, moved toward the child. Mara knew she had only seconds. "Emily, look at me," she gasped, her voice strained with pain. "You're going to be okay. I promise." She finally reached the edge of the platform, ignoring the stings tearing into her arms. She grabbed Emily by the waist, pulling her close, shielding her with her own body. The bees attacked Mara fiercely, but she held the child tightly, whispering reassurance through her own trembling breaths. Arthur reached the tree just as Mara prepared to descend. "Mara." "My God," he shouted, but she spoke before he could finish. "Take her," she cried, pushing Emily into his arms. The moment Emily was safe in her father's grasp, Mara's legs weakened. She had absorbed dozens of stings, maybe more. Her vision blurred, her breathing turned shallow, and her grip on the tree loosened. Arthur, realizing she was about to fall, handed Emily to the groundskeeper who had rushed over, then reached up just in time to catch Mara as she slipped from the lower branch. She collapsed into his arms, wheezing, her skin swelling rapidly. Why did you do that?" he whispered, shaking from shock and guilt. Mara forced a faint smile. "She's your daughter. She's everything." Her voice cracked, and Arthur's chest tightened with emotions he hadn't felt in years. He barked orders for an ambulance as he held her, horrified by the red welts covering her body. Emily, still crying, watched with trembling hands, realizing that Mara had protected her like a mother would. At the hospital, Mara battled the severe allergic reaction. Arthur refused to leave her side. For hours he sat in silence, his expensive suit ruined, his eyes fixed on the unconscious young woman who had risked her life to save his child when he wasn't there to do it himself. Guilt gnawed at him. How many times had he chosen business over Emily? How many moments had he missed? How often had he relied on Mara, never realizing how deeply she cared? When Mara finally woke, her vision blurry, she found Emily hugging her waist and Arthur sitting beside the bed, his eyes swollen from tears he didn't bother hiding. "You saved her," he whispered. "You saved the most precious thing in my life." Mara tried to sit up, but Arthur gently pushed her back. "Thank you doesn't feel enough," he continued. "But I promise you this, things are going to change." Emily nodded vigorously, planting a small kiss on Mara's hand. In that moment, something shifted. Arthur realized that wealth meant nothing if he couldn't protect the people who mattered. From that day on, he spent more time with Emily, learning to play, to listen, to be present. And Mara, no longer just a maid, became a cherished member of the family, treated with the respect and gratitude she deserved. Emily never forgot the day Mara saved her life, nor the bravery that had turned an ordinary afternoon into a moment of profound love and sacrifice. And as for Arthur, he often found himself looking out the window at the oak tree, humbled by the realization that sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones we least expect. They don't wear armor or capes, they simply have hearts strong enough to face danger for the sake of a child. And if you're watching this story right now, it's a reminder that real courage, kindness, and loyalty still exist in this world. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more powerful, emotional stories like this to life. Stay connected, stay inspired, and remember, sometimes the greatest wealth is the love we give to others.